Welcome to Sports for Casuals episode 3. On today's episode, we're going to talk straight ball. We're going to talk football all episode long. We're going to go over the college football week 3. We're going over NFL week 2. We also have our dogs of the week. It's going to be a very fun episode. We're going to go over a lot of big matchups that happen this weekend and some of the big matchups that are happening this weekend. So it's going to be a very good episode, very educational episode. We're going to give you guys some insight. I'm going to give you guys my opinions on who's going to win each matchup. It's going to be very, very fun. Also, if you guys are new here, make sure to click that subscribe button. It would help me out a ton. Make sure to like the video so more people see it, and make sure to comment, interact with me. I really would appreciate that. But starting off, let's jump right into it. Because we have a lot of ball to talk and not a lot of time. So first, we're going to talk the biggest game of the week, Georgia, Tennessee, man. What a game in Neyland Stadium, however you say it. Tennessee, Rocky Top, what a game. And that was one of the craziest games you'll see all year, if we're being honest. That was a classic SEC matchup between two rivals that do not like each other, and it delivered. Tennessee got out to an early lead. They looked like they were going to dominate Georgia, but in Georgia fashion, they came back, and on fourth down, Gunnar Stockton made a big-time throw to the end zone and scored and got the 2-point, and the kicker had a chance to win the game. He had the chance to put the game out of reach, and he missed. And then from that point, we knew Georgia was going to win. And they did it. My big takeaways are Joey Aguilar is the real deal for Tennessee. I don't care that they lost this game. This guy can play at SEC level. It's been proven. That's a very good defense that he lit up in Neyland Stadium. Kirby Smart's defense has never been lit up like that before. Give Joey Aguilar his respect because he deserves some respect. That was one heck of a performance from the young stud. Gunnar Stockton, though, also deserves respect because that was a game. He had to put the team on his back, make a ton of big plays when it mattered most, and he did it. He succeeded in that, and I was really entertained because it was an awesome game. Couldn't be much better than that. That was one of the best games we'll see all year. Very good teams, very competitive teams, and a very wide open SEC. We'll talk about that in a second, but very, very entertaining game. Surprised the defenses didn't play a little better. I remember last year both units were a little better, but you know what? The offense has just overpowered them, and Joey Aguilar is going to run Josh Heupel's offense to perfection. Josh Heupel loves running a lot of vertical routes, and I think that Aguilar fits that well. Very good game, but Georgia, man, the dogs are always going to go on top, and that's what happened there. But we're going to go to some other SEC matchups really quick. We're going to go Florida, LSU. LSU, the SEC favorite as of right now, and man, I'm not going to lie to you. In my opinion, they did not look that good. All right, let me explain. Their defense looks great. Okay, defense looks great, but the offensive side of the ball, there's concerns. There's concerns with this LSU team because they haven't been able to put up points. They haven't been putting up points. They haven't been able to run the ball. They've been struggling with all that good stuff, and when you're trying to be a complete football team, a full football team, you have to be able to do that. You have to be able to have philosophy where you can run the ball, And, I mean, Florida's defense is a very solid unit, don't get me wrong, but they were not able to take advantage of 5 interceptions and score more than 20 points. That is ridiculous. If DJ Lagway plays a good game, I think the Gators take down LSU in Baton Rouge. So put that in the back of your mind. I think that Florida, I think they should have won this game, if I'm being honest with you. 5 interceptions, only a 10-point loss. A lot of opportunities to make big-time plays, and DJ Lagway just couldn't do it. He looked very off. He's looked off since the start of the season. And you got to start to wonder, man, what is going on with Lagway? He has a tough matchup this week. He has a tough matchup after that. When is Lagway going to get it this season? He was a guy that was talked about as a Heisman favorite or a Heisman top 5 contender, and now he's looking awful. And Florida is just, I don't know, man. They got a gauntlet coming up. They have 3 tough games. They have Miami, A&M, or Texas, then A&M. So those are 3 tough matchups. It could be 0-3 if they keep this up, which is crazy to think about because this Florida team had a lot of high hopes to start the year, and a lot of people are high on them. But the Gators, man, I don't know, man. They're tough out, don't get me wrong, but you can't have your quarterback throwing 5 interceptions. LSU, though, they stay winning, but how much longer is it going to keep up if their offense can't keep up with other teams that actually can score points? We'll find out. LSU's defense isn't going to hold a team to 10 points every week, so we don't know what's going to happen, but LSU's defense is legit as they come, but the offense definitely needs some work. Now we're going to go to another SEC team pulling off a big W on the road, A&M over Notre Dame. What a game. Another great game, 41-40 if I'm correct. Texas A&M won on a 4th and goal. Marcel Reed miracle play, rolling out to his left, throws a dime, and you look at this. This game could have been an overtime game if Notre Dame's actual long snapper Holder could actually catch onto the ball. That was really bad. That was really bad. He cost himself the game, cost his team the game, and that's what happens, man. Notre Dame falls to 0-2. Now they're on the outside looking in because they are not in a conference. They can't win the conference. They are going to play some weaker opponents. So you look at all that, and now you're like, all right, is Notre Dame really going to be a playoff team this year? Is Notre Dame going to miss it? They could go 10-2, don't get me wrong, but with their not being in a conference and their schedule, I don't know, man. It's going to take a lot for Notre Dame to get in. They do not control their own destiny anymore. A&M, on the other hand, get a big win, a signature win, and gives them some sort of, they have to be feeling good heading into SEC play, man. They have to feel very, very good about themselves. And I'd feel good about myself too. They just took down a very good team in a very hostile environment. Give credit to A&M. They balled out. Marcel Reed looks a lot better, and this team looks very, very solid. They were able to keep up with Notre Dame. Notre Dame's offense pleasantly surprised me. CJ Carr looks very comfortable. He put up, 400 yards, 41 points or whatever. Felt like he put up 400 yards. I don't know if he did, but they scored a lot of points. They definitely cooled down in the second half, but when Jeremiah Love isn't completely dominating games, CJ Carr's looked pretty good. Jeremiah Love hasn't been Jeremiah Love yet this season, which is very weird to think about, but he'll get going. I'm sure this Notre Dame defense will not let up 40 points again. We'll see what happens with Notre Dame, but they're on the outside looking in my opinion. Now, we got to go to the Canes, baby. How about the Canes? I said it last week on the show. I said it that the Miami Hurricanes would dominate USF. 17.5 points, take the spread. That happened. Miami dominates USF. USF, on the other hand, it was the first game they looked completely outclassed. Florida, they were able to hang in there, but they looked completely like they were in a league that they don't belong in. All right, I'm not going to lie to you boys. I'm not going to lie. Miami was able to do whatever they wanted to. They wanted to pass the ball, they were able to pass the ball. They wanted to run the ball, they were able to run the ball. Even USF forcing 2 turnovers. But Miami's defense was the story of the game, in my opinion. They completely dominated Byron Brown. Byron Brown could not get going whatsoever, had many turnovers, and really gave the Hurricanes great field position. The Hurricanes played a heck of a game. Ruben Bain is a difference maker up front. The secondary looks a lot more comfortable. You have a bunch of studs back there. The Hurricanes look very, very good, but now they have a test. We don't know how good Notre Dame is. Notre Dame just lost again. So this could be a real test for them with the Florida Gators. The Florida Gators aren't going to lay down easy. We'll talk about that in a little when we go talk about next week's matchups. But the Hurricanes have a test in their way, and this is going to be very interesting. Carson Beck is a Heisman favorite right now. He played a very solid game. 2 interceptions, though, but, one wasn't his fault. Hurricanes' offensive line's dominant. This team is very legit. They're legit as they come. As long as Mario Cristobal does not make a dumb mistake, this team has a ton, and I mean a ton, of potential. Going back to the SEC here. We're going to go back to the SEC, and we're going to go to Vanderbilt. We're going to go to Vandy. Vandy, the Vandy boys. Vanderbilt takes down SC. Wow. Who would have thought that Vanderbilt would have won this game? I told you guys that Vanderbilt would cover 5.5, but if you listened, you heard that. But Vanderbilt covered 5.5. Diego Pavia in the offense was humming. Honestly, when you could look at the Virginia Tech game to South Carolina barely beat Virginia Tech, who's not a very good football team. Obviously, they just got blown up by Old Dominion, fired their coach. On the other hand, Vanderbilt completely dominated that game. Vanderbilt's a very solid team in the SEC, and a wide open SEC, mind you. They can potentially make some moves this year. Don't count out the Vandy boys. We will see, though, but overall, looking at this, Vanderbilt looked very good. South Carolina's offense looked awful. They could not get the ball rolling. Lenore Sellers looked very uncomfortable. He got hurt. Everything that could have went wrong for this team. And Lenore Sellers, I love the guy. He's an awesome player. He's fun to watch, but he hasn't really shown the improvements that we want to see. We want to see him better in the pocket. He had some moments in the Virginia Tech game where he looked very good in the pocket, but he has not shown that on a full tape this year. So very interested to see if he can do that. But now South Carolina falls unranked, and now they are in a very, very difficult spot. Now, Georgia Tech. Why am I confusing my texts? Georgia Tech and Clemson. Man, why are the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets so good at beating these ranked teams? It is ridiculous. It's like they enter a different mode when they're playing ranked teams. Haynes King, he's just a demon, man. They're 6-1 versus ranked teams, I think, with Brett Key as their head coach. They had a very, very home field advantage, I will say. Their place was rocking all game long. Virginia Tech deserved to win that game. They were going to win that game the whole time. I actually thought Clemson was going to come back and win, but the Yellow Jackets did it. Like I said last week, I said the Yellow Jackets plus 5.5 was just too much value to pass up upon. Went down to 1.5 by kickoff, but Clemson, on the other hand, definitely very disappointing. They were the ACC favorites. I think they're maybe national champion favorites heading into this year. Cade Klubnik was Heisman favorite. Cade Klubnik does not look good. He essentially lost in that game. He threw a pick on the 1-yard line. He didn't get going. And you look at that and you're like, damn, Clemson, man, what the heck? Clemson, what is going on there? I have no idea. People are trying to run Dabo out of town, but I don't think it's Dabo's fault. Dabo, I mean, obviously, he has to have some fault in this situation, but I mean, he's brought them to 4 national championships, won the conference 8 out of 10 years. His words, not mine. Like, can't fire that guy. Dabo is going to be Dabo. And Clemson, I mean, they could afford to have a down year, but they were supposed to have a squad this year. It's definitely very disappointing to look at. We'll see, though. We'll see if they can bounce back. It's only 1 game in conference play, so the world's not over yet. It's just that is definitely a very tough loss to take, and they fall unranked. Now, we're going to talk next week. We're going to talk next week really quick. We're going to talk some of my favorite matchups for next week, some of my predictions for that. So let's go over that right now. First, we'll go Oklahoma and Auburn. Jackson Arnold returns to Oklahoma, and we get a very good matchup here. A very, very good matchup. You have John Mateer versus Jackson Arnold, the guy that got replaced versus the guy that replaced him. It's like a classic X story. It's like when you walk into the bar, you see your ex and a new dude. You're like, damn, you're doing me like that? That's how probably Jackson Arnold felt. So, how is this game going to go down? Personally, I got to go with Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma minus 6.5. They're at home. They have Norman, all of them behind them. This is the best team they've had in years. John Mateer is a Heisman favorite, or one of the Heisman favorites right now. Team looks great. They have the squad to win. Auburn is in a tough environment. Jackson Arnold really hasn't shown us he has all that with his arm this season. He's definitely a good running the ball, but will it translate versus a very good Oklahoma defense? I don't know. Against Baylor, he ran the ball like crazy, but he never was forced to really throw it. So this is a tough team. So will he be able to throw the ball against his defense? That's going to be the big question. That's going to be a deciding factor in this game. But I have to go with Oklahoma. They're more proven. They have less question marks. And they have John Mateer, quarterback. I like John Mateer. I think he's potentially the Heisman winner. Got to back John Mateer and the Oklahoma Sooners here. I think they get it done versus the Auburn Tigers. Now, we're going to talk a big Florida matchup. We got Florida versus Miami. All right, had to set up talk about this one. All right, 7.5 point spread is disrespectful to Florida. But by kickoff, LSU was down to 2.5, 3 maybe, I think. 3 or 2.5. It was down pretty low. So definitely is going to keep going down and down. It was at 8.5. It opened at 8. It's going to go down to like 5. The Hurricanes look very good. They look like the best team in the country, in my opinion, or second best. Ohio State's obviously up there. But Florida Gators aren't going to lay down and quit. They know if they go 0-3 in this next stretch, or Billy Napier knows if he goes 0-3 in this stretch, he's gone. He's putting the sack on his shoulder and he's out of Gainesville. So they know that. DJ Lagway knows he doesn't want to get his coach fired. They're going into Miami, the team that has all the hype around it, all the hype. Will Florida sneak up on them? I don't think they'll sneak up, but I think that they're going to play a hell of a ball game. I think they will keep it close. I think the defense is probably the best unit the Hurricanes have played against. It probably may play against this season. Very good squad there. They have a very, very good team there. Just they haven't put the pieces yet. DJ Lagway doesn't throw 5 interceptions. This game will be very close. But the Hurricanes defense will make it difficult for DJ Lagway. This new defensive coordinator has put a unit together in South Beach, or Coral Gables. He's put a unit together. So shout out to Corey, Corey Heatherman. Shout out to him because he's completely flipped this Miami defense from what we've seen last season. Ruben Bain looks dominant. The matchup, it's another game that's won in the line of scrimmage. In my opinion, if the Miami Hurricanes are able to assert their will in the line of scrimmage, run the ball for 5 yards a carry like they've been able to do, they will win this game if they're able to stop the run, force DJ Lagway into uncomfortable situations where their secondary can be comfortable. I'd like the Hurricanes to line this matchup. I think they win this game. 7.5 points. I think this game could go down to the wire, though. I would not. I don't know if I'm dealing the Hurricanes spread, but I really do like the Hurricanes to win this game. I think they have a very good chance. There's a chance that Florida or Miami completely blows them out of the water, but my mind, I'm a Hurricanes fan, my mind's telling me that's not going to happen. This Florida team's not going to go lay down. 7.5 points at a reasonable spread. Give me Miami to win the game. I think Florida covers 7.5, though. Should be a very entertaining game. This is a do or die for Florida, and Miami really wants to win this game so they can go into the bye week, prepare for FSU undefeated, because that game is going to be absolutely fireworks if both teams are undefeated. So Miami versus Florida is going to be a big game for both teams. Both coaches have a lot at stake. Both teams have a lot at stake. This is a potential do or die for Florida. This is a do or die for Florida. They can't lose 3 games and try and make the playoffs. And Miami, on the other hand, this is a must-win for them to keep the momentum rolling to end of Florida State, which is the biggest game of their season. Now, we're going to the Big 12. We're going to go Utah versus Texas Tech. All right, be honest. I've watched a little Utah. I have not watched too much of Texas Tech. I know Utah or Texas Tech has a crazy wide receiver, and I know Utah has a quarterback. Very, very good quarterback, and I'm always going to back the quarterback. I'm always going to go with the home team here, so we're going to take Utah. I think that, they can throw all the, tortillas, whatever they throw at, Texas Tech all they want. I like Utah here. I like the team. They're returning a lot of starters. They have a very proven coach. They have everything that's proven to make this team successful. I like Utah here. They have it all. Give me Utah to win this game. I don't have too much insight with players and whatnot, but I do think that Utah is going to win this game. It's a big 12 o'clock kickoff game. Very excited for it. I'm going to really get some good info on this team and see how good these teams are, because these teams are two of the top favorites in the Big 12, which is a crazy conference. So, I have to watch it, get these teams down, understand them, because there's a lot of football left to be played, so I definitely am going to watch this game. SMU Baylor, that's another big game, or not SMU Baylor, SMU TCU, my bad. SMU Baylor was a couple weeks ago. SMU TCU is a very interesting game. TCU 6.5-point favorites, and I like TCU minus 6.5. All right, I'm going to tell you guys, watching that UNC game, I believe in the Horned Frogs. They look dominant. They look very dominant. Their quarterback looks fireworks. And I know SMU has the explosive Kelvin Jennings who can take it 80 yards to the house at any time, also throw it on a rope. Very good coach in Rhett Lashley, but I don't know, man. I think that TCU is a very good team. 6.5 points, I feel like fits them. They're at home. Place is going to be rocking. Give me the Frogs, man. Something feels special about this Frogs team. They have it. I feel like they have a squad. I feel like SMU has a lot of holes on their team. So I like TCU here. I think TCU gets the job done. They have the squad. They have the defensive talent. They have the offense. Give me TCU. They could be a team that wins the Big 12. Now, moving on to Michigan versus Nebraska. All right. Very interesting game. The Bussin' Bowl, you have, you got Nebraska, up-and-coming team. They've been on the up. They've been on the up these past couple of years with Matt Rule. And now they're facing probably the most important game in this 3 years, if I'm being honest with you, because Michigan is coming to house. Michigan, the program that won the national championship 2 years ago, cheated a little, but not too bad. Just like you flirting at the bar. Nothing crazy. But, they still have talent. They have the number one quarterback from last year's class, Bryce Underwood. They have the defense. They have receivers. They have running backs. They have a squad. And Nebraska's 2.5-point underdogs at home. This could be the game. This could be the game that means Nebraska is back. I mean, if we're being honest, if we're looking at this could be the game that Nebraska wins. They are back. They are back on the map. Dylan Raiola is here. They have the talent. Matt Rule is there, and they could potentially put their hat in the Big 12 or the Big 10 race because they don't have too much of a schedule. They avoid Ohio State. They avoid Oregon. I think they avoid Indiana too, and Illinois. They do have to play Penn State, but if they can take down a big opponent in Michigan here, that would be very huge for their program. That would be very huge for their trajectory. They're going like this. If they do that, they'd be going like this. That's how big this game is. Michigan's a big-time program, and Nebraska, this they must win for them. Michigan, on the other hand, they cannot lose this game. You know what? They let Sharon Ward, I think, choose the suspensions or whatever, and he chose this game. He was like, yeah, we're going to do this game. That's how confident he is. That's how confident he is. Michigan is an interim head coach. Put up 63 last week, so, you look at that, but how is Bryce Underwood going to perform? Is the training wheel still going to be on him? That's the question. The training wheels are on him. I like Nebraska to win this game, but if they unleash Bryce Underwood. If they unleash Bryce Underwood, then yeah, Bryce Underwood is going to eat. He's going to eat. If they let him play his brand of football where he's able to roll out, make plays on his feet, let him sling the pigskin, I have no doubt Michigan will win this game. But if they play a conservative brand of football with Bryce Underwood here, I don't like Michigan here, and I'll take Nebraska. Very 50-50 on this game. Got to do more research, but right now I'm leaning towards Nebraska. At home, place is going to be rocking. This is the biggest game in years for them. Give me Nebraska plus 2.5. I like that a lot. Now, another big game. Very, very big game in the Big Ten landscape. Let me paint the picture. All right. Illinois football's back. I've been watching football for years. I couldn't tell you last time Illinois was good. Indiana football's back. They were good last year, for the first time in forever. They have a coach that wants to win, who can win, and a quarterback who's a potential top 10 pick in Fernando Mendoza. Indiana football's back. Illinois football's back. Both these teams are back, and now they are meeting Saturday night in Indiana. The cornfield's not actually. They're meeting in Indiana, though. Big game. Who takes it? Going with Indiana. I'm going with the Hoosiers here at home. That place is going to be absolutely nuts. Nuts. Illinois is not ready for this. Give me Indiana, man. I don't think they've been tested, though. I don't think Either team really has been tested this year, but I like Fernando Mendoza. I think he's a better quarterback here. Even though Illinois has some playmakers, we've seen them make plays. Watching the games, I've definitely, I respect Illinois. They have a good defense. They have a very, very good defense, but I have to back Indiana here. Home, proven head, they have the Cincinnati who's win. All he does is win. Big-time game. They can finally get a big ranked win for the program. People can stop calling them cupcakes. Give me Indiana, man. This game is personal. I like Indiana here, -4.5. I think they get the job done. All right, done with college football. We're done for college football for the video. The sports show, we got to move on. We got to talk pro. We got to talk pro here. We got to go to the NFL, baby, the National Football League, founded in 1920. We're going to go with the Packers first. The Packers Commanders. Big takeaways from this game. You look at the Packers, they look very, very good. That's my big takeaway. It says it right there. Packers look good. Packers look really good. Packers look really, really good. You see this, the Packers, man, that defensive line is phenomenal. Micah Parsons opens up so many opportunities for Luke Van Ness and Rashawn Gary. I mean, it is ridiculous how much space they have. And they only have to rush 4, so they're able to drop 7 most plays. And when they do blitz, they're getting true one-on-ones and free rushers. So makes life a lot easier for the Packers, and now they have a defense that can compete in this loaded NFC, and they could be, in my opinion, they're my favorites to win the Super Bowl right now. I know this is crazy. No, it's crazy. I think it's between them and the Ravens for the favorites to win the Super Bowl. I don't like what the Eagles are doing. I don't like that they have to rely on the run so heavily that they have not been able to get the pass game going. That is definitely not a very good sign, especially if you fall behind in a game. Not a very good sign. Not a very good sign. I need to see more out of them passing the ball. Ravens, on the other hand, I think are a very good squad. They're really put well together. They just have to be able to finish games correctly, and they would easily be the favorite. But Packers have it all. They have quarterback. They have talent on the receiving core. They have a stud tight end. They have offensive line. They have a very consistent running back, a great coach. Defense is there. This Packers team is legit as they come. Washington, on the other hand, they lose Austin Eckler for the year, potentially the career. It's very sad. Love Austin Eckler. Grew up watching him. It sucks. Part of the game, though. But Austin Eckler went out on a shield, man, and now they lose out on a playmaker. I mean, they traded away their number 1 running back. They got rid of their number 2, got hurt, and now it's up to Krosky, Merritt, and Chris Rodriguez to step up. Will JCM be the guy in Washington? I'm starting to think so. I'm starting to believe. They tried to beat away a Brian Robinson. I always believed that the plan was for JCM to be that guy, and I think that he will be that guy there. But Washington has some other holes, man. Has some other holes. Offensive line play was not very good. Micah Parsons was eaten. Jay Daniels got hurt. He hurt his knee, banged up a little. He's going to be okay, but still, that's not what you want to see in year 2. You don't want your quarterback getting hurt, your franchise quarterback especially. So, you look at all that, and you're like, all right, they got to lock in. They cannot allow Jane Daniels to get hit as much. Sam Cosby coming back will definitely fix that, but it's definitely very worrisome. They have some holes. I don't like that they haven't been able to get Terry McLaurin really, really going, but they'll be able to get him going. They'll be able to get him going when time goes on. Remember, he was holding out like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, a month ago. So, he still has to catch up to game speed. He's a veteran receiver. Terry McLaurin will get his. And when he gets involved, I'm a big fan of this Washington team. But, man, that game, the Packers just looked really, really good, and that was my big takeaway. Now, we're going to go down to South Beach, and this hurts for me to talk about, but we got to talk Dolphins-Patriots. Dolphins-Patriots was a game that, man, it was such a bad game. It was so good, if you know what I mean. Usually when the Dolphins play the Patriots in Miami, it's usually a Dolphins W. Home field, the Patriots wearing dark colors, shade, all that. The Dolphins usually play well early in the season, but that did not happen whatsoever. The Dolphins lose to the Patriots, and the defense looks like one of the worst defenses I've ever seen in my lifetime. They cannot stop a fly, and nothing's happening. That's against Drake May, who hasn't had his best performance, and Daniel Jones, who I guess is resurrected. We'll talk about that in a little, but now they have to go against Josh Allen this week. That is going to be very, very tough. We'll talk about that in a little, but the defense is not there. They are not able to get pressure. They are not able to guard long enough. Offensively, they had to play perfect. The offense has to play perfect for the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa has to play a perfect game for them to win. If he makes one mistake like he did on Sunday, they are going to lose the game, and that's as simple as it is. Patriots, very good job. That was a great punt return from Gibson. Obviously, I wasn't that high on the Patriots coming into the season, so I'm not really saying they barely beat the Dolphins, who suck, but they're able to get out the mud. Drake May's only going to get better. Mike Vrabel is a very good coach. All he needs is a few wins, and he's going to get something rolling down there, or up there. But overall, very sloppy game for both teams. Just had to have a winner, and the Patriots pulled it out. Now, We're going to go to Super Bowl rematch. Chiefs losing to the Eagles. All right. First of all, Travis Swift cost us game. I'm just going to get that out of the way. Love Travis Kelce. He's awesome. He makes a ton of great plays. Funny guy. Obviously he's living a great life. But, man, that play was bad. That was bad. I understand Mahomes, as soon as he turned, he probably was not ready for that pass whatsoever. But, man, you have to catch that in a big moment, and you can't deflect the ball up. I know obviously the last thing he was thinking about is deflecting the ball up. Like, it wasn't an on-purpose thing, but still, that is a big-time mishap because they potentially take the lead there and potentially don't look back. They got momentum. They were able to score, just their defense could not stop the run, if we're being honest. Like, they were able to stop it, but, the tush-push, man, is just automatic, and that just put them in uncomfortable spots. Chiefs are definitely missing Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. Offensive separation hasn't been that good. Travis Kelce missed some big plays. Overall, it was a sloppy game for them. Mahomes had to, put the team on his back, and unfortunately, it was too heavy. It was too heavy for them. Eagles defense played a very good game, but the tush push. We gotta talk about it. I know I've made my comments in the past, got 1,000 views on a video on my personal channel, and where I said the tush push should be banned. And man, that blew up. Everyone hated it. Got bad. Everyone was like, it's legal. There's no problem with it. But I'm really seeing the guys line up off sides and jump off sides. All right, guys, that's bad. I know it's not on the Eagles to enforce that. The Eagles should be able to do whatever they want, and the ref's job should be able to enforce it. But jumping off sides is crazy. I hate that for the game and what's going on. It sucks. It definitely does suck. So, I hope they call it fairly because that was definitely aggravating to watch when you're seeing guys jump off sides. But credit to the Eagles, man. They obviously haven't been able to get the pass game working, which definitely worries me. But they're able to win the game versus a tough Chiefs team on the road. So you got to give credit where credit's due. The Eagles pulled out the mud, and the Eagles are 2-0 to start the season. Now, we're going to Minneapolis, Minnesota. We're going to talk toilet bowl really quick. Vikings and Falcons. Not obviously the toilet bowl, but the Vikings offense looked putrid. They looked really, really bad. Couldn't get anything going. And, that cost them at the end of the day. Their defense pitched a very good game. Not a lot of touchdown in the fourth quarter where they let them score. The defense played great, but it was just the offense couldn't get going. They got opportunities, but they couldn't get going. And the Falcons played a very smart game, not forcing conversions, not forcing fourth down attempts, taking what the defense is going to give them, take the field goals, and they just built up a nice lead, and that's how you win the game. Good job for the Atlanta Falcons. They are going to be a very good team. I love Michael Penix Jr. I love what they have. I love Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan. Defense looks a lot better. Their defense looks a lot better. They're finally able to get pressure on the quarterback. So, team to look out for in a couple of years, or maybe even next year, is the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know how good they're going to be this year, but next year they should be a damn squad. The Falcons are on the rise, man. They're on the rise. They are ascending, and it's going to be very fun to watch. Now, going from the Falcons, you got to go some sad. It's just sad. Joe Burrow getting hurt, man. Joe Burrow was poised for a big season. Obviously coming off last season where he threw for a bunch of yards. Defense didn't help him out, and you're like, all right, Joe Burrow's going to have another big year, and seeing him go down in week 2 definitely is sad because, the guy has dealt with a lot of injuries, and they have a team. They have an offense. They got everyone. And, honestly, I just hate thinking about it because it sucks. Definitely does suck for the game. Joe Burrow's just an awesome player. He's so much fun to watch. Jake Brown stepped in and made a couple big plays to win the game. But, man, it definitely is going to suck not seeing Joe Burrow on Sundays for a little while. We got to talk about the game, though. Jake Brown played great when he had to come in. He did throw a couple picks, but, man, when he had to make the big plays, he made the big plays. Trevor Lawrence gave that game away by throwing interceptions. Him and Brian Thomas Jr. have not been able to connect. That's definitely an issue. That's your number one receiver. He is a very good player, and you're not able to get the ball to him is definitely something that is going to affect your team. It's going to affect your team. You've got to get him the ball. You got to get Travis Hunter the ball. Those two guys should be getting the ball, not your fourth and third string receivers, Diami Brown and Parker Washington. Love those guys. They're good players, but you got to get the ball where the money is, and the money is with Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. Trevor Lawrence hasn't found a natural connection with them, so it's definitely disappointing to see. The defense made some big plays. Trayvon Walker looked a lot better this year. He is a guy that was labeled a bust as the first overall pick, and now he actually looks like a very good defensive end in the NFL, so good for him. No one will talk about him because he's in Jacksonville, but look out for Walker, number 44 on the Jaguars because he is a damn player. Not too much to talk about this game, though. Very good ending. Bengals, the game-winning drive. How much better can that get from the Bengals? Give yourself some confidence going into next week because they have a hard game next week. Now, we're going to go to some crazy stuff now. We're going from sad to crazy. Daniel Jones resurrecting his career in Indianapolis, man. Resurrecting the career in Indianapolis. making a comeback is crazy. He had struggled with the Giants. Obviously, he didn't get to play with the Vikings last year. Now he's in Indy. He got a bag, and he's balling. Tyler Warren is legit. They were able to carve up a Broncos defense that's supposed to be one of the best defenses in football. They targeted Pastor Tane. They did not care, and they did a very good job. They converted on third down. They did everything they wanted to do, and they are 2-0 for the first time since 2009. Good for the Colts, man. They looked very darn good doing it. The defense obviously is pretty good. They were able to make big plays when they needed to, and the offense picked them back up. Jonathan Taylor is a real deal. They have all the offensive line. This Colts team could be dangerous. They could potentially win the AFC South if Daniel Jones can keep up. I mean, not even this level of play. If Daniel Jones up here right now, if he can play down to like here or here, if he can play to right here, they will win a lot of games this year. So good for the Colts, man. They look like a whole different team. Good for them. I was not expecting this, so I was not high on them at all come out this year, but Daniel Jones has proved me completely wrong, so good for them. A man accepts when he's wrong, and he admits it, and I'm very wrong. Daniel Jones and the Colts are for real, and this is a team to look out for with Tyler Warren, Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor. They have a squad. They also have a defense. The one thing that scares me is like a cornerback depth, but I think they'll be able to get by. This team has a bunch of talent. The Colts could be dangerous in that AFC South. Now, I keep saying now, but we're going to go to the craziest game of the week. Giants-Cowboys. What a barn burner in Jerry's world, man. Oh, my. You get the Giants, they score with 26 seconds left. You think the game's over, and Dak Prescott says, not on my watch. And then Brandon Aubrey says, not on my watch. He's plan B. He's working miracles in Dallas. You get all that going. It's crazy. Crazy game. Cowboys defense is legit really, really bad. We figured that out after 2 weeks. Giants defense is definitely a lot worse than I pictured. I thought they'd be very elite with that pass rush and, the safety position. I thought the defense would be able to be very good this year. CeeDee Lamb, Pickens, Jake Ferguson just held him at will. Javonte Williams had a very good day. Cowboys offense is legit as I come. Too bad they don't have a defense. But next week is going to be very fun versus the Bears. We'll talk about that in a little too. But what a game. Brandon Aubrey is a damn dog, man. That was a very fun one. Very excited to see next week versus the Bears, but Cowboys gutted out. Giants, tough, heartbreaking loss. You think they're going to get their first win of the year. Russell Wilson played a great game. But, man, at the end, that pick was very costly, and the Giants lose the game. Bears get embarrassed. The Bears got embarrassed really, really bad. That was awful. Ben Johnson came back to Detroit. He was met with the boos. Everyone said, oh, is Ben Johnson going to pull off the upset in Detroit? Is he going to do it? No. Amon-Ra was doing this, dancing around, had 3 touchdowns. Jared Goff threw for 5. Their defense couldn't get a stop. Offense put up, 21 points, though. Solid. Rome Odunze had a day. Caleb Williams made some very impressive throws. Caleb Williams is very interesting to me, all right? I'm going to lay this out because Caleb Williams, he's inaccurate. Well, it's obvious. When you watch him, he misses a lot of throws that he should make. But it's about the plays that he shouldn't make that he makes, where he's running around, zips the ball, doing like a 360, full power, like a pitcher sidearm, and it just hits the guy right here. You look at that, and you're like, all right, the guy has it. He has it. We know he has it. It's just he has to get the basics down, and this guy's going to be awesome. I think that this is going to be, for the Bears, obviously, they were never going to win a Super Bowl this year. As long as Caleb Williams, this would be a success if Caleb Williams can really understand the Bears' offense, get a comprehension, and show that he can make the easy plays that he's supposed to make, the reads. He'll be fine. If he can do all that, then the Bears will be A-okay with Caleb Williams. It's going to be a big prove-it year for them. I'm excited to see the Bears, but the Lions are a team. They got back. Everyone said, Dan Campbell needs Ben Johnson. They didn't need Ben Johnson on Sunday, I'll tell you that. 52 points, 51 points, whatever they put up. Crazy. Lions whooped the Bears, embarrassed them in Detroit, and I expected that. Now, last game of the week, or technically not last, but this last game we're going to talk about is the Bucks versus the Texans. The Bucks versus the Texans. Baker Mayfield is so damn clutch. He makes all the right plays. He makes the biggest plays, and he's just a damn dog, dude. He hurt his knee last night. I know you guys saw it, where he got sacked, I think, on a third down, or second down, and he grabbed his knee, and he, folded. You're like, Baker's hurt. He gets up, plays the next play, and then he kind of lips off to the sideline. Over the course of the game, you definitely saw that he was hurt, and he just played through it. He did not care, and he let a game-winning drive, won the game. Good for the Bucks. The Bucks are legit as they come. The Bucks are a very good team. They are a potential dark horse in that NFC. Nobody talks about them. They have a defense that can make plays. Vita Vea, Levante David. They obviously have Winfield in the back end. And then obviously with the offense, they have one of the best offenses in football. Mike Evans will have Chris Godwin back, Emeka Ibuka, Bucky Irvin, Rashad White, Baker Mayfield, Tristan Wirfs is coming back. This team is dangerous. This team's dangerous. They played a good game. And the Texans fall to 0-2. Very surprising. But, they should have won the game. The defense, which was elite all game, let up a 2-minute drive to lose the game. That's just unfortunate. That 4th and 10, you got to make that play. They couldn't get them off the field, and Baker Mayfield just carved them up, man. As simple as it is. The Bucks played a very good game. The Texans, they had their highs, but the Texans, you got to get Nico Collins more involved. Nico Collins has not been the focal point of the offense like everyone thought he would. I'm excited to see if they can get more involved because that is going to be a recipe. Nobody can guard that guy. It just is the offensive line can give C.J. Stroud enough time to do it. They can't run the ball to save their lives. The Texans really are going to have to rely on the pass, so it's going to be very interesting if they can do it and keep up in these games. The Texans might have a very rough season. Now we're going to highlight a few matchups for next week, starting with the Now we're going to highlight a few matchups for next week, starting with the Jaguars and Texans. All right, we just talked about the Texans, but we got to talk about them again. All right. Big game, because they cannot afford to fall to 0-3, man. Teams that fall 0-3 usually do not make the playoffs. Very tough spot to be in, and the Jaguars actually look pretty good. So, it's going to be very interesting. The Jaguars have a pass rush. Will C.J. Stroud, be in trouble? I think that's the deciding factor of the game. The offensive line can give C.J. Stroud time. They will win this game. Jaguars are favorited. I like the Texans here. I do not think they fall to 0-3, but I don't know, man. We've seen crazier things, and the way it's looking, the Texans had a chance to win that game. I see the Texans losing by heartbreak, but my gut just tells me Texans to win this game. So I'm going to go the Texans to win this game, but I could definitely see it going either way. Cowboys-Bears. All right, I definitely want to talk about this game because look at it. Cowboys-Bears should be the best game of the week. All right, the schedule is not very good this week. We've been spoiled the last 2 weeks, but you get Cowboys-Bears in Soldier Field, offensive shootout because the Cowboys can't stop anything. The Bears can't stop anything. It's just going to be fireworks, man. Dak Prescott on the offense might go for they might combine for 60 points. They will easily, but they might. But it's going to be 40 burgers. It's going to be 40 burgers. I'm expecting Ben Johnson's offense to have a big day. I'm also expecting Caleb Williams to play well. I'm expecting Dak to play well. I think the Cowboys win the game, though. They are slightly underdogs right now to pick them, but I think the Cowboys get it done, man. I think the Cowboys get it done. I'm high on the Cowboys this year. They are the NFC Bengals. They have the offensive talent to make big-time wins and big-time plays. They have some defenders that can make some plays when it comes up. I do love, I love the Cowboys to win this week. I think they do get the job done. Now, Commanders-Raiders. I like Raiders plus 3.5. Jane Daniels is banged up. The Raiders, the defense is going to give him issues. I feel like Max Crosby is legit as they come. They have some heavy hitters on that defense. They have some solid players. They're able to hide the weak secondary. I like that from them. And I feel like Geno Smith kept the game close with the Chargers, man. The Chargers are a very good team, and he played awful. So I feel like he's going to play decent. He won't do that again. I like the Raiders plus 3.5 here. I think the value is great. Like I said, I don't think Geno Smith in the offense is going to throw up a stinker like that again. I think the offense will get going, and I think that Geno Smith and them, they'll have a good day. I think that Washington could win this game. It's a coin flip, but I love Raiders 3.5. That is definitely my play for that game. Now, Eagles-Rams. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. I like the Rams. I know as crazy as it sounds, I like the Rams to win this game. I think that they'll be able to stop the run. The thing that scares me, though, with the Rams I'm just scared of the Eagles because I don't know how they're going to pass the ball. I don't think anyone could stop Puka Nacua on that team or Devontae Adams. I think they might be able to mess with the run, but I think if Matt Stafford has time, he will be able to dissect this defense. So give me the Rams to win this game. But definitely, if the Eagles go down, I would feel very comfortable because we haven't seen them have to throw the ball this year. So, how will they do when they have to throw the ball? We'll find out. Maybe Sunday. It's a big question I have to answer. Until then, I cannot bet on this Eagles team. They've been living off the run, and eventually it's just going to bite them. It might not be this week, but I got to go with the Rams here. I think the Rams get the job done. I'm pretty sure they're at home. I don't know for sure, but I think they do get the job done. If it's in Philly, though, I think the Eagles will win. But, whoever the home team is, I like it in that game. That's a coin flip game to me. Now, Bengals-Vikings. Backup QBs. We got Wentz versus Brown in here. Give me Wentz. Give me Carson Wentz to win this game. All right. He has Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson, he has Jalen Naylor, Adam Thielen. He has all those guys, Hawkinson, backup running back. But the Bengals defense sucks. When you look at the game, the outlier of this game is the Bengals defense sucks. Carson Wentz will be able to go in there, and he'll be able to make plays. And then you look at that. You look at the Bengals offense now. Now with Jake Brown in verse, the Vikings defense, who's a phenomenal unit. Give me that, man. Give me the Vikings here. I think they get the job done. The defense will be the outlier for them, and they will win this game for the Vikings. Now, our last NFL game of the week that we will cover is Broncos-Chargers, probably the best game of the week. I said that about the Cowboys-Bears, but very, very good game. You're really going to see it's a tester. It's really see where these teams are at in the AFC West. It's a measuring stick. Are the Chargers going to start 3-0? Are they? No, it could happen. It could be crazy, man. It could be absolutely crazy. You see the Broncos losing last week to a leverage call. Crazy. It's tough. But I have to back the Chargers, man. They've been red hot. Justin Herbert looks legit. He's awesome. And the defense got lit up last week. They didn't look the best against the Titans. They made a lot of errors. Bo Nix has definitely struggled with turnovers. Give me the Chargers, man. They have a very physical team. That I like them in any condition. I like them in any place. Give me the Chargers. They are a team that could win the Super Bowl this year. I think the Chargers beat the Broncos this weekend. Now, our last segment of the show. You guys already know it if you guys have been watching. Dogs of the day. Dogs of the day, or Dogs of the week. Dogs of the week. I say dogs of the day every time, but it's dogs of the week. Our 5 dogs of the week, guys that perform well in their sport, put the team on their back, made big-time plays and big-time moments. First dog, we're going to start with college football. We'll do 2 college football, 3 NFL players for this week. Have them right here. Gunnar Stockton. He's passing that bit like Stockton. I'll tell you that. But when you are in Neyland Stadium, 4th and goal or 4th down, and you drop back to pass and you say, I'm not going for no check down, I'm not going for the first down, I'm going for the end zone. The end zone. 6. I want 6. And he throws it up there and throws an absolute bucket ball. You got to be on your list. He pretty much wrote his name in, essentially. That's what happened there. Gunnar Stockton, gritty comeback win. Led them that way. And he's a guy that, has a big matchup versus Alabama where he'll really be tested. But in his first road game, putting up, 51 points? I think they put up, was it 51 points they put up in Neyland Stadium? That is ridiculous on a team like Tennessee. He showed that he can throw the ball more than run it. I like Gunnar Stockton. Has to be on this list. Now, second one's a little biased. All right, I was looking through performances. He kind of stuck in there, but Mark Fletcher, man, he had a day of, I think, 3 touchdowns, 150 yards, dominated the game, ran people over. He looks great. He's going to dominate the season. He is a guy that waited his turn in Miami. He deserves all the recognition he's getting because he was a guy that could have transferred somewhere else, but he said, nah, I want people to come in. I want to be challenged. I want the best team. That is a dog leading your team to victory versus a very tough USF team that hasn't allowed a touchdown all year before that game on a full drive. So keeping that in mind, him having 3, dog. Now, first NFL dog of the week. We are going to go with Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors has to be on this list because what he did was ridiculous. I mean, he had, 2 monster touchdowns, if I'm correct. 2 big plays, great catches. He was unguardable. He is unguardable. He's one of the most skilled players in football. In my opinion, the second most skilled receiver in the NFL behind Jamar Chase. Big player, big-time playmaker. He's a quarterback that will just give him moon balls. Malik Neighbors made some beautiful catches. And, when you put your team on the back like that and you lose, you got to get respect either way. Malik Neighbors is on this dog of the week spot. Now, same game. We have the guy that ended the Giants' hopes. Not a quarterback, not a running back, not a receiver, not a defender, not an offensive player, a kicker. Brandon Plan B Aubrey. I'm calling him Plan B because all he does is work miracles in Dallas. What a performance from the lad, man. This guy was in what was he doing? Selling insurance 4 years ago, and now he's the best kicker in the NFL. 64 yards like it's nothing. The guy makes big-time kicks every single week. He does it like it's nothing, and he makes it so easy, man. He is just so much fun to watch kicking the ball, and big-time nail-biting moments. 64 yards like nothing is crazy, and then the game winner, man, right down the middle, no sweat about it. Brandon Aubrey is legit as they come as kicker, and he has swag, man. Won the Cowboys the game. He has to be on this list. Now, our last dog. You guys know the names I said. I said Gunnar Stockton, Mark Fletcher, Malik Neighbors, and Brandon Aubrey. There's one dog that's just so notably not here. You guys know it. I know it. We got to talk about him. Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, man. Baker. He is the definition of a dog, a canine. That dude is hungry to win, and he makes winning plays. That dude had a busted knee last night, and he was running. He was running because he was like, you know what? Put my team on my back. My team needs me. I got to step up. Delivering dimes, making plays, taking hits, doing it all, chirping. He's the definition of a dog. Like, man, when Will Anderson thought he made a sack and Baker extended the ball out and got the first down, and he was celebrating, and Baker Mayfield says, first down, I'm like this. What a guy. What a lad, man. That is a football player right there. Baker Mayfield is awesome. Love Baker Mayfield. And you start to look at Baker and you're like, man, that guy's just fun. He screams football, and he's just a guy that is just a baller. He goes out there and plays with his heart on his sleeve every single Sunday. Gotta give credit where credit's due. Baker Mayfield is your last dog of the week. Appreciate the heck out of you guys. Thank you guys for watching this episode, man. This episode was so much fun to make. I enjoy it. Plan on getting people on. We're going to get people on soon. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to have people on. We'll do a little Zoom. It's going to be fun. So make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the video and comment what you guys want to see, what you guys want me to talk about. Please do that. I really would appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for your support. It means the world to me. And I hope to see you guys next one. Peace.